Hey guys, it wouldn't be an English shooting live stream if there wasn't a little bit of technical difficulties or glitches. As I'm sure you can probably guess, I'm not in the same location. The internet in here, my home office, as sure many of you have seen a lot of the videos filmed with this backdrop. Yes, I've gone full YouTuber. I've even got the LED strips lights. But yeah, things are going to be a little bit different from now on, which should, apart from dodgy internet connections, be for the better. Which I'll get onto shortly. So yes, I was just having a bit of a meltdown with the Wi-Fi connection. Everything seems stable. Everything seems good. If there's any dropout, then we'll adjust it. There's too much light. It looks perfect. It looks perfect on my screen. Shall I? I'll turn it down a little bit for you. How's that? Looks dark on my screen, but for all you picky buggers out there. So yeah, it's obviously we tend to try and get a setup that works for everyone, and works well, and then lo and behold we go and change it. So there's going to be some learning curves, but there's a lot of research that I've been doing recently to try and basically build up to the stream as smooth as they used to be before all of the changes. So turn the contrast down. Unfortunately, I'm using the webcam from the Mac, so that is going to be the first change. We're going to be getting a an adapter to be able to use the main camera that I use for all the videos, which is a 4K camera. It's the Sony A7 III. As I'm sure many long-term fans of the channel will remember all of my discussions about that and the very generous donations that allowed the channel to go out and buy that. So yeah, I thought some stream would be better than no stream at all. So sort of the first topic is, yeah, Alberto, I know, right? Only 8 likes. Come on, hit the like button, support the channel. You know the drill. Share to people, get people watching. There's going to be some very interesting topics, including, I know I've done a video on it already, but the firearm safety government consultation, aka the Offensive Weapon Bill 2.0. Are of course going to be talking about the compensation for the offensive weapons bill the original offensive weapons bill, so for the Mars, lever release and other guns like that. But the first bit of news that I want to get into, which is obviously linked to the change of scenery, change of quality for the short term, is going to be that we are going to be back to weekly live streams. And I say we, obviously it's just myself at the moment. Mr. Magload, I guess I've got him. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. I've got him here in spirits with the mag pack behind me. We'll have a closer look at that later on. Basically, it wasn't working doing the English shooting live streams at Bluefield Sports every single week. And the sort of compromise for that was to then do them every 2 weeks. And then, what would happen is we'd get really busy, like over the last couple of weeks with sort of the Black Friday deals with Magload. Like we just couldn't make it work. So I needed to be able to go onto a more ad hoc basis in terms of the scheduling. So we're going to try and keep to every week 7:30 on a Thursday, as we have I think like the past year now. But we need to be able to shift it around. We're all getting busier. Alex at Bluefield Sports is getting a lot busier. Connors and I with Magload is getting a lot busier. So we need to be able to move the stream about, and I want to be able to get it back to once a week. So the only way to do that is to sort of change the location of the stream. So it will be probably here a lot for the short term. And it's a site that you're used to, especially my pretty face. And we are going to be in the processes of building and putting together a dedicated live stream slash podcast slash filming studio. We've had areas in the past that have been set up sort of temporarily in a way for these purposes, but the issue is that certainly filming in the gun room, we've got to lug all of the kit into there, set it up, film a couple of videos, and then tear it all down. And with all the lights and the tripods and the microphones and everything, it wasn't sustainable. So again, lots of sort of jiggering around, but the long of the short of it is we will be back to weekly live streams. We're going to try and keep them as regular in terms of the time and day that they are done, but it may switch a day or two here and there, especially because I think Christmas is on a Thursday, or Christmas Eve is on a Thursday, and then New Year's Day or New Year's Eve is going to be on a Thursday as well. So for the next few weeks, it's going to chop and change. But anyway, that's sort of a bit of a catch up of the state of play, but it does mean more live streams. It means more interaction, and you guys seem to love the live streams more and more. So it's important for me to keep doing them and keep them regularly. So yeah, that's the update. Yeah, if you hear any dogs barking in the background, apologies from that. I am at home, and we do have two yappy type dogs, Buzz and Woody. Yes, I'm sure you can guess where those names came from. And they love patrolling the garden, going after all sorts of critters in the evening. So if you do hear any barking, it's just Buzz and Woody doing their job. But anyway, as always, it's a case of any questions or topics you guys want to talk about. I don't have my expert firearm healer, Connor's, with me, although he might appear at some point in the chat. I'm sure he's got better things to be doing. But yeah, any questions or topics that you want to talk about that you have, I'm here to oblige and get chatting. But of course, going over something that I'm sure all you guys are aware of, the firearm safety government consultation. I've got the full thing printed off here. I did make a full video of it, but yeah, if you want a more in-depth look at it, then go and check out that video. But I thought I would cover the highlights of it for anyone that isn't aware of it. So this was announced a week or so ago. Well, no, actually a few weeks ago. It's taken me, again, with everything going on, videos sort of slowed down, but we're going to be back straight into it. So high muzzle energy rifles, aka the 50 caliber, 50 BMG. So they're basically saying that there's going to be further restrictions on security on the 50 BMGs. It's basically any rifle with a muzzle energy of above, I think it's 13,600 joules, which is pretty much exclusively the 50 BMG. Air guns, they're looking at banning the possession of air guns under 8, or the unsupervised possession of air guns under the age of 18 at the moment. I believe 14-year-olds and upwards are allowed to go off unsupervised, and this is off the death, unfortunately, of a child. As I say in the video, at the end of the day, it was an accident. I really don't think the sort of people that allow their kids to go off without the right training and discipline with a gun, the sort of kids that accidentally shoot another kid, I don't think the parents of that sort of person or that child is really going to keep up with the laws or be aware. Like, people are still going to go and let their kids unsupervised. It's not actually going to prevent anything. Miniature rifle rangers, of course, with all the full metal jacket, they are looking at removing the exemption within law that allows people to possess up to .23 caliber firearms for the purposes of running a miniature rifle range. And they're basically going to require everyone now to have a firearm certificate. As I've said in that video, I don't necessarily agree with it. I think I said in the video I agreed with it. I'd prefer they just sort of left it alone, but it does make sense. At the end of the day, people that were quite obviously not suitable were getting hold of these guns. Yes, there's a million other ways you can get hold of illegal firearms, but at the end of the day, what they were doing was completely legal, and that unfortunately negatively reflects on all of the legal gun owners and shooters out there. So I think in the long term that's going to be potentially beneficial. And of course, ammunition, they're looking at tightening up ammunition laws and basically making it harder to be in possession of certain components like the brass and the bullet heads. So basically it puts off criminals. But of course, as we know from all of the obsolete firearms debacle that's going on at the moment, then people are already getting ammunition. You know, at the end of the day, there were 2 RFDs that were given pretty hefty sentences for supplying these people the obsolete calibers. So again, is it actually going to stop anybody? No. Is it going to make it harder for legal firearms owners out there? Most likely, but that's all the sort of brunts of it. Why did you name your dogs after your girlfriend's toys? Oh, come on, that's an old one. That's an old one. I'll get them on the channel. I mean, they're both terriers. They love catching rats. I don't know if I've shown you guys before. Where's my phone gone? Buzz, I'll get a little picture up for you guys. So Buzz is what we refer to as an action Yorkie because he's a bit of a chunky boy. He's not your typical teacup sort of, you know, Crufts Yorkie, and Woody is sort of a Jack Russell cross, we think, with a dachshund. He runs like an absolute spaz, if I'm going to be completely honest. He had I think they call it a dew claw, and I think as a puppy he got used to running with that. When we adopted him, we had the dew claw removed, but he still runs like he's got him, so he runs a bit funny. Let's see how good the iPhone search feature is. Dog, there we go. See all. There's a lovely photo of Buzz doing his job somewhere. I'm not going to find it after all of this suspense. Yeah, this is a fail. Oh, there we go. So that's Buzz keeping himself in house and home, doing his job, getting the rats up the garden. Woody is most definitely the better trained rat dog out there. I think they've got it sort of 4-2 or 4-1 on the rat catching in the garden. But anyway, that's Buzz and Woody's. You will probably hear them later on. Isn't a dew claw just a dog's thumb? I don't know. I'm not a veterinarian. It was like an additional claw that he had, but it was. I don't think it was meant to be there. I think it was a defect. He is a bit of a defective dog, unfortunately. 1 thumbs down from Connors. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. So a lot of you guys are asking for an update on the FAC front. Well, as I always say, as soon as there's a change, I'll let you guys know. You'll see a video. You'll see me going out and buying all of the toys that I want. So unfortunately, nothing yet. No updates. I have been trying to phone Hampshire the past few days. Unfortunately, their contact online isn't. You very much get the impression that they just don't want to speak to you. Or just me, you know, which I can sort of understand, I guess. So where I can't remember when it was put in, but it was a number of months ago. Obviously, we had this sort of second lockdown. They're not processing. They don't see first-time applications as essential, and that seems to be mirrored along other forces as well. So they're doing renewals. They're prioritizing renewals, but let's get that out of the way so it doesn't flash all evening. So yeah, they're not prioritizing it. I'm just waiting. I mean, it has been a couple of months now, I think, since I put it in. I tried to phone them. Hampshire's a little bit funny with their phone calls, so anyone that's in Hampshire will know this. You can only phone them, I think it's between 10:30 and 12 every day. If you try and phone them outside of that time frame, you just get an automated response, which is, please send us an email and we may get back to you. But I phoned, I think it was at 11 o'clock, so within this window, and it just said, you know, we're very busy at the moment, you know, please only go through with a call, you know, if your query can't be dealt with through email. Okay, technically mine could have, but I wanted to speak to someone there and then. I mean, we are paying for the service, I guess. So yeah, it just went through this automated voice message of, you know, if you phone between 10:30 and 12, we'll be able to talk to you, and then the phone cut off. So maybe they saw my number flash off and they thought better off it. So I don't know what the situation is. I have been contacted by a number of people. I know there's one in the chat. I won't mention your name just in case you don't want to be linked to it, but they've certainly been having a lot of problems. A lot of other people have been having problems with it. Unfortunately, this is the situation that we're in. The COVID is messing everything up at the moment, and whether or not people are using it as an excuse or there is a genuine substantial backlog, I don't know. I'll let you guys decide on that one. I wouldn't like to comment, but from the information that I've heard, I think the Met Police have 700 plus applications. They could, each one will take a certain amount of time. Even if you say that each an application takes a total of 4 man hours to process, that's a lot of application. That's still over a year's worth of sort of man hours working every single day. So yeah, it's what we suspected. We've talked about it on the stream. I think we are just gonna, it's just gonna be a waiting game, unfortunately. It's not the best situation. There's gonna be a lot of first time shooters out there that are chomping at the bit to get their licenses, get into the sport. Just be patient. I mean, waiting a year for an FAC or an SGC isn't unheard of, even pre-COVID. Both my certificates were 6 months apiece, so 6 months to a year is was at the time pretty normal for Hampshire. They did get a lot better, sort of sub 2-3 months at one point, and obviously there is a natural backlog because of it. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Sinner 2004, did you try the chili bites? Yes. So if you want to put a smile on Connor's and I's face, send us Pepsi and a meat, basically dried meat. So Sinner 2004 is very kind enough to send 2 cases of Pepsi, which I think is almost gone. They only sent it down a couple of weeks ago, and a huge stick of biltong. It wasn't a stick, it was like a paddle. It was massive. I had to get the biltong knife out for that one from Marmaduke Creations, and also something that I've never had with these sort of smaller, thinner bits of biltong, which were chili bites. This might be a bit too much information, but they were lovely going in, not so lovely going out. I saw the same effect that KFC chicken wings have on me, and I love KFC chicken wings, so it's you've got to sort of suffer for your pleasures out there, don't you? But yes, Sinner 2004, absolutely love them. We've only got a few. I think we've got a bit sort of that size left of the biltong paddle, and we've got a handful of sticks left. But yeah, you wanna get on the good side of Connors and I, dried meats and Pepsi. So Mr. Shear, took me 9 months to get refused and 2 days in court to get the refusal overturned. Grand total of £5,000 in costs. Yeah, I mean we talked about this before. I've been through the unfortunate situation of appeals and going through the system, the appeals system, and the thing is they sort of know it's on their side, don't they? They know that you've got to stump up all this money. Obviously, Basque doesn't have the same legal insurance protection anymore, so Basque can give you all the advice in the world. They might be able to even send somebody to your day in court, but at the end of the day, if you're unsuccessful or any upfront costs, you're gonna have to fork out. So we're gonna we talked about this. There are alternatives. I'm personally with Gunplan. I think at the time I said that Gunplan didn't cover initial applications, and I later found out that they did. So I got a Gunplan cover just to be safe. The CPSA also will give you legal protection and legal insurance for the grant of a shotgun certificate. So they will cover all the fees involved with that. And obviously, if you're going coterminous, that involves a shotgun certificate, and that's why the CPSA will kick in. But yeah, the police know that there's thousands of pounds in cost, and that a lot of people are just going to, not bother. They're just going to say, first of all, I can't come up with that money, or if I lose, I certainly can't pay that sort of money. And it's sort of a weapon in their arsenal, so to say. Sinner 2004. I'm trying to join the UK PSA at the moment, just sorting out references, and now I've joined KFC, so getting there now. Awesome. So should hopefully see you at as many KFC matches that are outside of Bisley. So they've got the place down in Leon Solent. So they're shooting there. There's been talks of other sites as well. So I mean, I did see David Kiddle. Thanks, David, for joining. He's of course a committee member of KFC. So any questions about that, join in. But I say to everyone, if you're looking at getting into shooting sports, certainly if you're looking at getting into practical, go straight into to KFC. They're a brilliant club for beginners, and they will get you on the on the right track. It's also a club that there's just there's no bullshit. Basically, it is what you see is what you get, and it's a bunch of passionate people trying to push the sport forward, trying to get as many people into the sport. There's I have to say, out of all the years that I've been at KFC, there is minimal politics, certainly well below the average in some clubs. So yeah, a great club to join all round. Highly recommend Nick Doherty if you ever need a firearms barrister. Yes, my Genesis file was filled with somebody else's crimes. Wow. So that's it does baffle you sometimes that they can get it that wrong. But Nick Doherty, highly recommend. Both both Alex and I have used him in the past. He is probably the foremost sort of a firearms specialist barrister in the UK. Obviously partnered with Laura Thornsbury, I think her last name is, who is the solicitor for the CPSA. So you sort of get a 2-for-1 deal with both of those. They do bounce things off of them. So if you're paying for one, you usually get the influence and advice from the other as well, if it's needed. So yeah, highly recommend Nick. There's a number of people at the moment that are unfortunately going through some difficult issues, let's just say, and they can't rate him highly enough. So absolutely, and please, if you ever do need, unfortunately I never wish anybody to need the services of Nick, but if you ever do, please tell him that I sent you, because probably next time that I'm going to need him, he might give me a small discount. So we're any sort of what's the word, sort of any commission, any commission that he might want to give me will be much appreciated. But yeah, anything else, any topics you guys want to talk about, any questions you have? David Kiddle, any of you shooting the 2-gun match Saturday with KFC? So if you wanna go and see 2-gun, even if you're not a member, you just want to go and see what's going on there, head down. I believe it's going to be about 0, and anybody that's currently a KFC member, I don't know if it's an open day, but get in contact with KFC if you're tempted. You might be able to join just in time and go down and join them. Daniel Smerald, any new kit under the Christmas tree? Not that I'm aware of. That's sort of one of the downsides, let's just say, of working for and running a company like Magload, is that all of the kit that I want, we sort of make. So automatically I tend to get it, which is a nice perk. But as far as I'm aware, no one's getting me anything shooting related. Again, working in the trade, it's just so easy for me to get hold of things, and I get sent things sort of on the regular. Recently the Olight, Daniel, I know you loved that Olight review. I know you're tempted to get one. Of course, if you go and check out that Olight Warrior video, Daniel, you can use that code and help the channel out. Just for anyone that doesn't know, Daniel is a complete brand whore. And buys into everyone's marketing and loves to buy the expensive Gucci stuff when stuff half the price will do. Daniel's coming down, I think tomorrow potentially. So yeah, I'm sure he's going to love me for that one. An older comment: did your mum do your hair and makeup? Yep, she put the cap on. She I don't know, maybe gave the beard a bit of a trim. Unfortunately. Fortunately, I don't know. I don't need makeup. I look this good all of the time. Can you believe it? I'm sure you can't. But yeah, Paul IPSC Magpack. So it's not the Magpack. If you have seen any posts about it, or you've seen it on the magload.co.uk website, it's not the Magpack. It's the Magpack. and we'll just leave it at that. So yeah, so we do have the mag pack. I don't know if you guys have seen it before. We might have had it on the stream. So we wanted to do something a little bit festive this year. So we created the mag pack. And no, it's not just the tactical stocking. You of course get the tactical stocking as part of the mag pack. You get the mag load PVC morale patch and sort of a limited edition lovely mag load ball with bottle opener. It is Christmas time. You're going to need that bottle opener. So is there somewhere else I can hang this? No, that's just going to go wrong. I'm not even going to try that. But yeah, so what else is in the mag pack? Let's have a look. Yeet! So we're included in the mag pack. So I guess this is the point where, like like professional YouTubers would be like, and now a word from our sponsors. So you get some mag lube. It's in this. They don't have an issue with leaking these tubes. They're pretty robust, but we like to be absolutely sure. Whilst these are leak proof, we don't know 100% if they're Royal Mail proof or even DPD proof. So a bit of added protection just so it doesn't potentially ruin everything else, but we've never had any issues in the past. This stuff Connors is very, very proud of. I mean, we do have to milk him for it. It's not a pretty process, I have to be honest. We have to get him slightly aroused. And then, you know, we've tried machines, but really the hand touch is really is really what gets the best yield of mag lube. But he's worked on this special formulation for a very long time, and it's fantastic stuff. This is, if you go to most IPSC matches in the UK, most of the people will have some of this. If you see people stripping down their guns on the benches or the safety area, there'll be a bottle of mag lube nearby, so you get some of that. Obviously a mag load sticker, vinyl sticker, long life, put on barrels, stocks, fore ends. Our custom made mag load Nexus Pro sticker is included. You get here we go, a 12 gauge breech flag, a 12 gauge breech flag holder. You get a 2.2 LBP breech flag. So these are specifically designed to work with LBPs so that you can drop the hammer. This was a new rule brought in recently, and obviously being LBP, it's like UK specific, but it does work as an action air pusher as well, an action air breech flag and BB pusher. So you get that, a 2.2 rail mounted breech flag. You probably see me use these all the time. Clips onto a Picatinny rail, so you never lose it, and obviously for 2.2 caliber, and a breech flag holder for that. A 223 breech flag, which is rail mount as well. So this is for like AR-15s and full bore rifles. So again, IPSC shooting or any really 223 rifles out there, but it's rail mounted again, so you can tuck it away safe. And you also get a holder as well if you want to put it on your belt, and a shot saver keyring or a 9mm keyring. This does actually 9mm shot saver. This does perfectly hold a 9mm round, and we've thought of doing potentially a few funny videos in the future. So that's the mag pack. If you're interested in one, you want to give one away as a gift, or you want one hanging above the fireplace this Christmas, go and check out magload.co.uk. You'll make Connors and I very, very happy. Or you can just send us sweaty dried meat and Pepsi, and we'll also be very, very happy. But there we go. Nicholas, greetings from Malta, big fan. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining. Alberto, lube, yes, it is lube. Strippers and lube in the table. I think you're thinking of another lube, if I'm going to be honest. This is specifically for guns. The specs of it are absolutely insane. It works down to like 18 degrees, works up to some ridiculous temperature. I don't know it off the top of my head, but it's the low temperature performance that's really astounding. So Connors has it's a shame he's not here, but Connors has a story of going up to it was Carlisle for an IPSC shotgun match. This was where it was the year before I first went up there to film, and they had a blizzard, and I mean like a literal blizzard. They couldn't see more than like a foot in front. He actually had to stop a shooter on a stage because he ran off and he couldn't see him, which as an RO, you always need to be able to see the competitor. All the guns were freezing up. All of the guns were not working, were not cycling because of the cold temperatures. And Connors was like giving out bottles of Maglube to people. As soon as people put Maglube on it, the guns ran. I mean, in terms of the UK, a Scottish snow blizzard is a sort of as harsher environment as you're going to get here, and probably across the world as well, unless you go to some crazy low temperature places, you know, minus 30, 40 degrees in some places in Russia. But there we go. Definitely not good for porridge. It's good for vaping though. Disclaimer, please do not vape Maglube or use it as a sexual lubricant, as we may joke here and there. Super Taz 100, UH1 or EOTech? I've actually got Daniel's UH1. Is it UH1? It's some sort of vortex. Vortex things. We've had it on the stream before. Or an EOTech. The thing, I did use like the first gen UH1 on someone's gun down at the range a number of months ago, and I was very impressed. It's very stormtroopery like, but I do get the feeling it's just a bit bulky for what it does, especially when you compare it to like the EOTechs. Now I think it was the 552, which was the night version one, and it's got the long, I think it took like AAA battery, so it had the long case. Now whilst overall I think that was slightly more compact than a UH1, EOTech changed it. I can't remember the model numbers, but they made it more. They basically got rid of the AA batteries, and they switched the batteries, and it made the unit a lot more compact. Personally, I don't know. I mean, for the price, the Vortex. What is a UH1 from Vortex running these days? UH1 Vortex. I mean, they're 500 quid. I didn't think they were that expensive, actually. I mean, an EOTechs can be pretty hard to get hold of here. I got an amazing deal, got a brand new one from William Evans in London. To be honest, I don't think they knew what they had. So yeah, I mean, EOTechs maybe 100 quid more depending on what variant you get. I mean, you can still buy here. I'm on tacticalkit.co.uk. Do they still have the 551? Well, they've got the 512 X display for 400 quid, so that's not a real comparison. So a 512 brand new is 470 quid. So actually, the older, longer, bigger EOTechs are a little bit more. If you want to go for like, so the smaller compact ones are like 600 quid. Which is pretty madness. So, well, yeah, so Vortex, whilst they're a little bit more than I thought, you're saving money going for the Vortex, but it's not a huge amount. I mean, I really like the EOTech. I got on with it really, really well, apart from when I started mini rifle. And, you know, I've talked about it all the time, or loads of times, that I switched to an illuminated reticle red dot, and that's the setup. And when, you know, using a Razer Gen 2, HD seems to be the most popular setup now for mini rifle with a 45-degree red dot. I just like to think I was ahead of the curve on that one. Not so much the 45-degree red dot, but using the using a scope actually within mini rifle. So yeah, I don't know, but I guess you're not talking specifically about mini rifle. It's harder. I love Vortex. You know I love Vortex. Always got on with their stuff. They make superb quality stuff. I assume they don't have the same temperature shift or drift issues as the EOTech does. I don't know. I think I would have to, maybe lean towards the EOTech. Maybe. They're very, very similar, and maybe you just look at it that the UH1 is shinier and newer. It comes with a lifetime warranty and pretty much has the same reticle as does have the same reticle as the EOTech. So save your money, get something new and shiny, and that lifetime warranty. But if you really want that full tactical Timmy, then the EOTech, because that's, you know, is what military use. It is what sort of police forces across the world use. So Daniel's saying about 450 quid-ish. I mean, this is like saying RRP about 500 quid. Although Uttings have it for 600 quid. Maybe it's the new one. Maybe it's the AMG. I don't know. I've really the UH1s is not something that's really taken my fancy immediately from Vortex. Again, I am looking for a new optic for mini rifle, so perhaps I should really get out there and try it and see what it's like. But the conclusion I always keep coming back to is something like a PST Gen 2. Is it a 1 to 6? Now, yeah, 1 to 6, the Gen 2s, or going for a Gen 2 Razor HD. I really, they're very hard to beat. I'm trying to beat them, I just can't. Gareth Cooper, what the hell have I walked in on? I guess that was the milking of Connors. Yeah, a presentation on Connor's udder juice. Definitely not. Okay, yeah. So as well, because of the internet connection, we I do have to have I think it's the normal latency setting. So there is a little bit of delay between all the messages and, you know, me seeing them and me talking about them. But keep them coming through. They are coming through. They are. I am seeing them. So keep me fed with questions. Keep me fed with topics, and I'll try and not talk about milking Connors in any way, shape, or form. So Sheer, yeah, the MRO, I highly rate it. Don't rate the HD so much, but the standard MRO I think is a great optic, and it's very tempting to go sort of the magnifier plus red dot route. I mean, Connors and I were shooting 2.2 at 100 yards with the HD. We were on target, didn't struggle at all, and because the dot is so crisp. Even on the MRO HD, which does have some issues with the one I was using, certainly did, because it's so crisp, even at 100 yards, you can see if you're on the side of the target, the middle, or the or the other edge. You're not going to be putting bullet through bullet, you know, most likely, unless you're seriously good, but you're going to be able to hit A zone after A zone, and also call your hits A zone with a MRO at 100 yards with a 2.2, no problem whatsoever. I know 100 yards isn't particularly a long distance for 2.2, it sort of is, and we are seeing those longer and longer distances within mini rifle here in the UK. Alberto, can you get mil surplus gear from guns, or just clothing and accessories? So there are, I did hear recently of, I think it was the 2.2 cadet rifles. I think it was the Lee Enfields that the MOD, was it the Lee Enfields, or no? I think it was the 2.2 cadet rifle Lee Enfield, and there was something like 5,000 of them sat in a warehouse somewhere in the UK. Not many people have the ability or facility to be able to take that sort of gun, and they weren't interested in piecemealing it. Like, you either had to come and take all 5,000 guns or nothing at all. I think that was the general gist of it. But yeah, so that comes from MOD. I do know of a few training rifles. The current service rifle, the SA-80. The 2.2 variants, again, I think it was more of a cadet rifle, but they have ended up in private hands. So yeah, guns do end up in civilian hands through surplus. I know that certainly accessories, so the most recent accessory that be made aware of that they give as surplus was the, what is it, Spectre HD, the Elcan. So the one that there's a review coming out very, very soon with that. Everything's filmed with it. I just need to pull my finger out, edit it, and upload it. But that is actually a surplus unit. So I don't think I say that in the video because it doesn't make a huge difference. But then saying that, at the end of the day, it's been used by a bunch of squaddies and it's lived to tell the tale. So that must sort of say about its robustness. In my previous line of work, we made stuff for police and military. And yeah, if you want something destruction tested, give it to a squaddie. They do it very, very quick and in really really creative ways. There we go. there are no 2 cadet rifles. They are 226, 556 with 2.2 conversion. Okay. I did not know that. I thought they were made as 2.2. But yeah. David Kiddle, I've got some sample Vector Optic, a very popular HK brand, big in the USA, firearms rated. Okay, yeah. Send me any stuff, Dave. You know what the deal is, David. Anything you want to bring down, I will happily head to the range and sort of put it through its paces. Did you get the 2.2 WMR video done this week? Unfortunately not, Daniel. I did say I was going to try and do it today. Things were a bit mad today, as they always are. We got in a little bit late, and by the time we got in, there was just so much to sort of catch up on. So unfortunately not. Brian Solomon, what do you think about FEO putting a mentoring condition on centerfire rifles, even though they had an instruction not to do it? It depends. I mean, I guess it depends on who's instructed them not to do it. Like, if the Home Office have said don't do this and they're doing it, then why are they going against the Home Office? I know there are certain things with the likes of stalking and hunting. So if you have an FAC purely for hunting, I know that they like to see that you've been mentored, and usually you have to get basically a reference from somebody that has given you mentorship and training and guidance on it. But yeah, putting on mentoring conditions, I mean, at the end of the day, the FAC is meant to say, look, this person's fit to have this gun. So I've never heard of mentoring conditions after getting the FAC. That does seem a bit weird, actually. But whilst I will slate them where necessary, an organisation that is really good for this sort of stuff is BASC. If you are a BASC member, they are the sort of people to talk to, and they can very quickly tell you if something is right or wrong. It does depend on who you get through to. Who you get through to depends on how much help you get and how much useful help you get. But yeah, they'll be able to tell you very quickly if that's a normal thing, whether they're sort of stepping out of line. But it's not something I have ever heard of. It does sound a bit weird in my opinion. Any point in asking questions if you're not reading or answering them? I just did. Sorry, Brian. Again, there is a delay. I try to get through the questions as soon as possible, but there's a delay from when I see something to when I say it. So there we go. Is the mentoring for the FAC or for a hunting variation? That might be a good point, actually. If you've already got an FAC for target shooting, and you've asked for a variation for hunting and haven't had any mentorship, they might say, well, actually, you've already got this, 243 or 308 or 223 or whatever. Yes, you can go and use it hunting, but for the short term, obviously you're lawfully allowed to be in possession of that rifle, but we would like you to be mentored whilst you first start using it for hunting. That makes a little bit of sense. Again, you guys know that I'm all for sort of sensibility and making sure that people have the right expertise, certainly the right attitude when it comes to firearms ownership. So safety and all that sort of stuff. So that seems pretty sensible. I mean, I haven't had a huge amount of hunting experience, and personally, I think it would be bonkers if I was to apply for a hunting slot and them say, there you go, go and use this 308 on a deer. A 2.2 on the other hand, I can safely use a 2.2 out there in the field quite happily. But I've never been stalking, and I think it would be wouldn't be a good thing to just let people straight out of the gate go out there. There's so much to stalking, not just in terms of finding the animals and stalking the animals, but in terms of safety, knowing what's beyond your target, what's the right angles, what's the right sort of situation to take that shot. Is it safe? That takes a bit of time to learn. So, David Kiddle, who is going to take the Right, I think we're back. I think that should be coming. That was a little bit quicker to sort out than last time. Sorry about that. Again, we are gonna get. I'm gonna get a for streaming here. I'm gonna get a hardwired connection, not relying on the Wi-Fi. I know I said that under lockdown, but then we ended up going back into the gun room. So anyway, let's move on. So anyway, COVID. I mean, crank the Mac faster. It's trying. It's whirring away. It's doing its hardest or trying its hardest to continue. Aren't we all? But anyway, on that subject, I'm just bored. I'm like really bored with COVID. Perhaps this is the plan all along. Like just give me the jab and let's just get on with stuff now. You know, I just whatever you wanna microchip me. I'm really not that interesting. Like, you know, you can find far more interesting stuff from my internet search history. That's for sure. Microchip ain't gonna do anything, and you know whatever. So anyway, that Mac is really struggling with that 240p video. Perhaps John Thorne has the same problem. Live stream's another ball game. I really don't know. Like, it looks brilliant. Like the camera looks brilliant on the screen. I really don't know why it's being so rubbish. Coming through to you guys. But again, we this is sort of a temporary setup. We will get something more stable, higher quality in the future. You just have to bear with us until that comes through. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, just give me the jab. Let's get on with stuff. Let's get back to business. Let's get back to competition. Let's get back to work. Just you know, and let's stop faffing about. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys? What do you really? How could you tell that's in a 2004? I'm just perhaps it's getting older. I just they say you have a less tolerance for bullshit as you get older. Well, mine's kicked in at 29. God knows what I'm going to be like at 50. If the jab works, everyone who is worried they are over 70, in fact 1% we find once they've had it. Yeah, like really once like the over 70s, over 60s, let's just say to be sure, are done. Let's just let everyone loose. The fatality rates under 60 are just minuscule overall. So, even comparing the fatality rates to the normal flu under 60s, yeah. How come you don't do the live stream on Facebook? You can at least touch the firearms on Facebook. That is very true. We did do a number of streams on Facebook, but English Shooting is a YouTube channel. I've said it many times before, whilst we do have a continuously growing Facebook page and Facebook group. If you're not a member of that and you're on Facebook, go and check the group out. There's loads of interesting stuff posted in there, and a few shit posts from Daniel, that's for sure. So yeah, basically I was doing it on Facebook, but there seems to be, it's a weird way, it's weird how it works. From what I understand from the messages and emails that people sent, everyone seems to have a YouTube account, or everyone seems to be anyone can go onto YouTube and watch a live stream without an account. But there's a lot of people that will not have a Facebook account. They can't stand it. They don't want it. So by doing it on Facebook, there's people that miss out. By doing it on YouTube, everyone can come over to Facebook, from Facebook to YouTube. Yes, we can handle the guns, but really, the stream started. I think me sat on my bed a number of years ago with a couple of guns. Obviously, that's when I had my FAC. But the streams have been going well without handling guns. We might have a few on the table here and there. So it's, for me, I think it's the best all round. I really do focus and prioritize the YouTube channel. That's where it started. That's where the main focus is. And I don't want people missing out. And people seem to miss out if we do it on Facebook. You speaking is out reminds me of Bruce Lee. Disco. I'm just, I don't know, very animated when I speak. And some lube. Always the lube. Hey, I keep things fun. Yes, you do, Daniel. Yes, you do. That's a fair statement. Oh yeah, someone I heard the first comment I saw was Jam Master Pro. I was like, someone's talking about the Mossberg. But is it the 940 or the 930? Oh, the 940. Okay. Yes, the 940 JM, and also let's just bring in the 930 JM. If I'm going to be completely honest, it's all marketing. It's really is all marketing. Whilst you could say the same for Vortex with the Razor HD Gen 2, with the JM reticle, the Jerry Michalak reticle, it is of course the scope that he uses. It is actually the scope that he uses. So you can take a JM'd reticle Vortex Razor HD and give it to Jerry Michalak to put on his rifle. He would be taking an identical one off and putting an identical one back on. The guns that Jerry Michalak and even Lena Michalak to a certain extent, the guns that they shoot, certainly Jerry's, that's not a standard gun. That has had extreme modifications. And I did find it quite funny that during all the press videos, they had a gun rack of about 20 guns or 20 JM 940s. And the joke going around was that's how many guns they needed to be able to film a complete video because guns kept malfunctioning. I don't know if that is the case, but I know of a few people that have switched over to it, and they just seem to have problem after problem after problem. I thought I was going to give them the benefit of the doubt. The JM, the 930, just don't even think about it. They said that they had fixed a lot of those issues with the 940. I think they had just sprinkled some glitter over it. You know, they had made some parts like gold anodized or gold Cerakote, and I think they were just hoping that people would go, "Oh, shiny, shiny! It looks brand new. Oh yes, it's got all these high tech coatings." And yeah, after like 200 rounds, it still jams. So, you know, it's I really can't rate them. I've never I've never had somebody like this. Is the thing is you put something out there online, if someone disagrees with it, you will know about it very, very quickly. And I don't think I have ever had somebody disagree with my opinion on the 930 or the 940. I think everyone that has actually ever had one, I think a lot of the supporters out there are people that don't actually use them. No, it's Jerry Michalak. Of course, it's a good gun. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway. Did you ever think English shooting would grow as it has? No, not really. I mean, I've always had wishful thinking. Brian Solomon, only 50 online are still not replying. That's what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. I replied to your question. I'm sorry, I'm trying. Yeah, I answered that question. Sorry, Sinner. Sorry. I answered that question about mentoring. Like, unless that's when the stream went down, I don't know. I think it's odd. I've never heard of it. I think Vicious Shear said that it might be if someone's already got a ticket and they're getting a variation for hunting. It is very odd. I've never heard of it. The only logical explanation is if you've already got an FAC for target shooting, and if you are moving over to you want to start using one of those guns for hunting, they might give you the variation condition that you go and get mentorship. And the stream seemed to threaten to drop out then, so I'm going to stop talking about that topic. That's the last time I talked about that topic, it dropped out. Anyway, Brian, I hope you've got that. I did answer the question a while ago. I'm sorry if you didn't hear it. I'm sorry if the stream cut out before you got to hear the answer. Sinner 2004. Did I ever think it would grow as it has? I always, I'm the sort of person that if I go and do something, I want to dream of like the highest level. Like if like I am very, very competitive, and if I'm going to do something, I am going to do it to win. I am going to, it's the taking part that counts. Yeah, and a lot of people, and I don't knock it, a lot of people can do that. In a way, I envy people that can enter competitions, can enter into something and be happy with just the experience. But if there's a timesheet, if there's some sort of score, you know, I can't say that I'm particularly happy if I'm not at the top of it. I'm just a highly competitive person. So, you know, when I started English shooting, I dreamt about it. I thought, oh, wouldn't this be amazing if it took off? But that wasn't the main motivation. It was like, you know, genuinely, if just a few people see the videos, understand it a little bit better, of how to get into firearms, and get certificates, then great. You know, whether that's 5 people, 50 people, 500 people, 5,000 people, like whatever amount. If I can make it the smallest bit of difference, and this is what I say to people a lot of the time, is like everyone has the same ability to do it. Everyone has the ability to introduce people, to get people started in the sport. And it was like me just like, right, I can knock out a video at the time with my iPhone, and sort of edit it and sort of put it out there online. If it, you know, if everyone out there went and did that, and everyone started making videos, and everyone who had an FAC or an SGC got 3 people into the sport, you know, it cascades, and suddenly we have huge numbers, we have a lot more protection, you know, and a lot more numbers within our ranks. But yeah, it's, yeah, no, I still kick myself. Like every time you log into YouTube and it gives you your analytics, you're like, you know, the channel will reach 1 million people a month, and it's like, you know, 1 million people. There's like, it's ridiculous, like absolutely ridiculous. And again, this is why I'm so critical of like our main organizations. Is like, you know, okay, things have developed over the year. I've had better quality kit. I've learned things along the way to make better videos in terms of editing. But if someone literally from their, well, really shooting started in my living room while I was living in London. I had a small office in the living room. But like if someone can literally with an iPhone start a channel that seems to introduce more people into the sport than some of our organizations, like something's going wrong. And I think it's just because Basque don't understand, or organizations, the older organizations, just don't understand social media. You know, you look at the readership figures for the magazines, right? I checked it the other day. I think that the largest shooting magazine reaches or has a readership of something like 25-30,000 people. And you know, okay, Basque like to say that they have the biggest readership because all of their members read their magazine. They receive the magazine. So I think they're actually all at work. Oh no, I can see 3 sealed Basque magazines in a pile right there. I'm not gonna try and like, stuff will go everywhere. This might look all really neat and tidy, but it's the typical sort of live stream Zoom thing. Like the rest of the room is an absolute shit heap. But it looks pretty from what you can see, so that's all that matters. Yeah, it's like the leaning tower of shit behind you, or behind the camera. But anyway, just because they send them to 150,000 people, I think the membership is, doesn't mean that 150,000 people read them. And okay, they get to swing their big readership dick, that they've got 150,000 people. Yeah, that's what this, in terms of views, this channel beats it. You know? So again, one person effectively in their spare time can reach, you know, have a viewership at the same level as Basque's readership. And again, 150,000 people are not reading that magazine every single month. Like I would stake everything I own on that. And yeah, so they just, you know, and again, that's viewership, but the channel is reaching 1 million people. Like Basque, then, you know, and again, you look at like Neil has double the subscribers. He's got 50,000 subscribers, and numbers do scale. So Neil must be reaching 2-3 million people a month with 50,000 subs. You know, like that's insane. Yeah. So anyway, yes, it boggles my mind. I'm incredibly grateful. I still don't 100% get it. I really don't get why you guys want to listen to me ramble on half of the time. but I am passionate about things. I am passionate about growing the sport, and I do, I do want to see it grow. And whilst it hasn't all been smooth sailing, I know ultimately the channel is having an overall positive effect on the sport. So, I'll carry on doing what I'm doing. Anyway, David Kiddle, Brian, give Callum a break. He is a practical shooter. Yeah, we are a bit slow. You got to give us some time. Basque stopped legal cover months ago. Yes, they did. Basque stopped legal cover. Well, it's not. It's they get really funny about calling it general legal cover. You still have liability insurance, so they still give you insurance as part of the membership if you have an accident, either with on yourself or against somebody else. It's the legal expenses insurance that they've stopped. So if you need to go to court, if you have any legal expenses, Basque won't cover it. There is still a wealth of knowledge there. There are still some very, very knowledgeable people. And again, this is why I get so frustrated. It's like, you have all this knowledge, you have all of this information, but you're just not maximizing your reach. You're just not maximizing what you could be doing with it. Funnily enough, I'll see if it's still available, just for the lot. Like, I had to check it out when I saw it. But Basque are actually recruiting at the moment. There were 2 positions. I think one was like a political lobbyer, and one was that's what I'm trying to. Here we go. Oh no, that's elections. Where was it? I'll read you the description because it is hilarious. And I was sort of tempted for a bit of a laugh. Oh God, it was a while ago. I'm trying to scroll through pardon me. Scroll through their thing. One thing I do have to that I did pick up on. I do like to blow my own trumpet, as we all do every now and then. Basque seem to be doing a lot more live stream and video since, since what? And it's like, it was funny when I had the Zoom call with Christopher Graphius, and then ended up putting it, doing the various videos on that and the live stream. He ended up doing a live stream on Basque. So I do have to say, whether it's right or not, that I think I've in some way encouraged Basque to get a little bit more online. No, the vacancies have been filled. Anyway, it's the title of the job was digital content editor, and I read through the vacancy, and it was like, yeah, that's like pretty much like, I'm pretty much spot on for that job. So I know they are trying, but they're just far too behind. I really think they should be. Maybe in a year or two's time, if they're recruiting people like that, we'll see a big explosion from Basque. If they looked after target sports a little bit more, then maybe I'd be a little bit more lenient on them. But anyway, there we go. Claire, day to play. Well, the vacancy's gone. I missed my opportunity. It was I think they're based in North Wales anyway, so it would be a little bit of a move for me. But yeah, I mean, it's sort of like, put your money where your mouth is. All right then, you think we could do better? Come and do it for us. Pay me enough and I will. What are you guys, vicious year? No point joining Basque. I mean, again, I've talked about it many times, but Basque seemed very, very confident and very sure that removing legal expenses insurance was for was in the interest of the greater membership. And perhaps it's because we're in our own little target. This channel is very target sports orientated. Perhaps we're in our little target sport bubble, and perhaps, yes, the majority of Basque memberships are for the hunting and countryside pursuit side of things. But like everyone that I talk to, they're like, what? They've removed legal cover? What? Or legal expenses cover. There we go. Distance is no excuse anymore. That's the point. I mean, if I was to do the job remotely, but it's specifically said in the ad you would be required to move back and forth. Anyway, We do have some other pretty significant news. There is a video in the works. It should be coming out in the next couple of days, going into detail with this. But this is finally the compensation for the Mars lever release firearms that have been reclassified as Section 5. You used to be able to own them under a Section 1 firearm certificate. They've now reclassified them. And they've finally released after months and months and months. So the Offensive Weapons Bill came into effect. It received royal assent and became law. I think it was the 16th of May 2019. So, you know, that it came into law like 18 months ago. You know, absolutely ridiculous. There or thereabouts. Anyway, they have finally received. They've released it. So what you're all going to want to know straight away is how much are people going to be receiving for these guns. So they have. Oh no! Oh, I've just realised something. Oh, I probably need to refilm the video because this is hilarious. Oh, this is absolutely tragic. Anyway, there are almost there, 6 firearms, remember this, there are 6 firearms you can receive compensation for. The first being the 9mm lever release, and what they're saying is a standard value of 2,240. A lever release in 45 ACP, £2,362 compensation. Lever release 223, 4,445 pounds compensation. Lever release 308. So these are all Southern Gun Company, if you weren't aware. £5,105, and a VZ58 Mars rifle, the manually actuated release system rifle, in either 5.56 by 45 or 7.62 by 39, £1,950. And the 6th firearm on this list is a bump stock. Yeah, that's right. They've just classified a bump stock as a firearm. Lord, give me strength. I mean, and I mean, I guess this puts to bed that, you know, all along you used to be able to buy bump fire stocks off of Brownells in the UK, but no one I knew was brave enough to actually test that in law. And it was like, it could be legal, it might not be legal. We don't know. But because of this, it was obviously legal, because well, when I say they're going to compensate people, not available or not applicable is the amount, NA. So if you do have a bump fire stock, you're not going to get anything for it. So if you go and do a little bit of digging, if you go on to the Southern Gun Company website, you'll find out that all of those firearms are the base price of the rifle. So they are offering compensation equal to that of the current recommended retail price of these base rifles. Now, you can obviously put more in there. So it asks if you accept that compensation, and you can then declare another amount. So let's say you had some really trick modification and customization to the rifle, and instead of your 9mm lever release costing 2,240, it ended up costing, you know, £3,000. Well, perhaps you will have to provide them. It does say has evidence to support individual value being provided. Well, I'm sure the guys up at Southern Gun Company, if you go to them and say, like, look, what would you value this rifle at? I'm sure they're gonna help you out. So yeah, overall, yes, I don't agree with the fact that these guns are being reclassified and taken away from their owners. There is not a single case of any of these types of firearms ever being used in crime. Ever. There has been no evidence to suggest that criminals are even interested in these guns in crime. Those are both facts, right? That's logic, that's factual. But yet they're taking them away. I really don't agree with it. There's no evidence, there's no logic there. But the fact that, you know, the silver lining is that I don't think they are necessarily shafting people in the compensation, which I think so many people were worried about. They are giving today's retail value, which if you bought your 9mm lever release 10 years ago, I think they're about 10 years ago. I think they've always been around since I've been in sort of shooting sports, which would be about 8 years now. No, I was 20, so coming on to 10 years. So yeah, if you bought your 9mm lever release, God, I'm getting old. If you bought your 9mm lever release 10 years ago, it wouldn't have cost you £2,240. Let's be honest, it would have been north of £2,000. So yes, again, I'm sure everyone would rather keep them and not have the compensation, but at least they are giving today's market value for them, or today's retail value for them, which I think, apart from taking away guns that have posed no issues to public safety, I think, you know, is as fair as they could be. Then it does also get a little bit silly. So and I know why they've done this 100%. They are also giving compensation for components. They're also giving compensation for any accessories or components of the guns. Again, Mars or lever release firearms. But it's not any specialist. So most of these, well, all of these, I think, all of these accessories could easily be used on another gun. Now, you know, of course, there might be the situation where all you have are 223 F-class rifles, and this is the only, like, you know, Picatinny clad, you know, black AR based or AK based rifle that you have, and perhaps the accessories will be of no use of you to you once they've taken them off you. So, you know, so yeah, they do need to sort of build that in. But the main reason that they are going to be giving compensation, and in fairness, pretty good compensation for some of these parts, is because they want complete guns. Now, I wonder why they would have a fear of not receiving complete working guns. Maybe it's because we all know, because it's already happening, that they are going to parade them around like trophies. We have already seen it. There was one today on English, today or yesterday, yesterday posted. So Dorset Police Firearms and whatever. New legislation means guns like this 9mm rapid fire rifle, which was handed in to us today, are now illegal to possess. Under a new government scheme, owners can surrender it to the police and may be entitled to compensation. So just a side note, when did lever releases start being rapid fire rifles? I mean, I didn't get the memo on that one. And again, if you saw that post, you would have seen, you know, well, what's a semi-auto, right? What's a full auto? If a lever release, if like some sort of deformed semi-auto rifle is now a rapid fire rifle, what the hell is full auto? But anyway, that's I digress. Let's get back to the compensation. So there are accessories that you can receive compensation from. So £90 for an upgraded AR charging handle, £150 for upgraded triggers, £150 for upgraded foreends, £50 for fore-end grips, grip rails, and other forward angle grips, £26 for pistol grips, £60 for buffer tube assemblies, £60 for butt stocks, £20 for action pins, £115 for iron sights. You can pick up a cheap pair of M-Bus for like half that. Ooh, I will give you all a suggestion in a minute. £50 for sling mounts, £70 for bipod, £50 for safety selectors, £45 for magazine buttons, £28 for magazines, £170 for electronic sights, optical rifle scopes, £160, and £50 for sight mounts. So, you know, it's what they are doing is they are incentivizing you to keep the gun as complete as possible so that they can have a trophy piece. Please, 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 at the very least, if you're going to sort of cash in on all of these upgrades, paint the rifle pink. They are already parading them around, and the less ammunition, excuse the pun, that we can give them in parading them around, the better. So please paint them pink. I know I've a couple of people have contacted me saying, you know, oh yeah, but will it devalue it? Will they give us less compensation? They have no justification to be able to do that, right? Most gun owners out there like to customize and modify their rifles, and that usually includes painting, right? So just because you've painted it pink, why would that be any different to painting it, you know, having it cerakoted in green, having it cerakoted in gold, having it cerakoted in silver, all of the other popular colours that you see down the range, you know, red, grey, green, blue, all of these colours, right? It's perfectly reasonable that someone would have customised it. Why does it suddenly make it, you know, they're not selling these guns, you know, it's not like they have to worry that the value might have been diminished because it's a garish pink. They're being destroyed at the end of the day. As long as the gun is on your ticket and you hand them all of the pressure bearing parts of that serial numbered gun, to be honest, I don't care what state it's in, what color it is. If they're taking that slot off of you, that serial number, you should get the full compensation. I really don't think they have any justification to diminish the compensation. Now, you know, on the flip side to that, very interestingly, actually, I think I have it shotted on this laptop. Where is it? So somebody that's really hot on this sort of stuff is a guy called Mike Genvy, big part of the 50 cal society, and he did say that which post was it? Basically, he said that someone had like one of the forces had threatened that, saying that if you start doing silly things to it, we may diminish it. And I'm like, you know, get back in your boxes. You know, you're taking away somebody's private property that you have absolutely no evidence or justification to be able to do, apart from it managed to get past the MPs, because they're all upstanding members of society, aren't they? Where is it? Anyway, he basically said that there is a little bit of fear mongering going on it. So, you know, I really can't find it. I should have had that lined up ready, so apologies. But yeah, basically the long of the short of his post is that some people, you know, one force had said, you know, oh, if you bring us something that's just, you know, unrecognizable to a Mars or lever release, we may diminish it. I don't think they have any justification to be able to. I think, again, they're just trying to get as many trophy pieces as possible. Mike Lindsay actually, I think, gave the best sort of explanation for this, which is that it is a peaceful, quiet protest. You know, just because you're an FAC holder and you're held to higher standards than everyone else, doesn't mean you necessarily have to agree with everything. You know, we are you know, free people. We are free thinkers. You can disagree with something. It's just whether or not you action on that disagreement. You know, you can disagree with taking away Mars or lever releases all you want, as long as when the police come and knock on your door, you hand it over and abide by what is now the law. That is the crux of it. You know, that's the important bit. So, you know, he described it as a peaceful sort of silent protest. And, you know, from all of the protests that we've had over the last few years, I think that's a very quite adult way to, adult painting it pink and putting unicorn stickers and Hello Kitty stickers on it, I don't know, but I think it's quite a good way to protest. No one's getting affected by that, apart from the police not being able to parade them around as trophies. But anyway, so that's the long and the short of it. I mean, the accessories, you know, there is some money to be made there. On a completely unrelated and separate note, there is a brilliant place called iWholesales. You can get really, really, really dirt cheap sort of components, be that pistol grips, stocks, fore ends, sights. You know, you're talking, you know, a few quid per, certainly if you have a trade account with them. So yeah, if you need any really cheap components and accessories, go and check out iWholesales. Anyway, completely unrelated, but back onto this compensation for accessories. So, you know, again, you're looking at butt stock, 60 quid. I mean, you know, being honest, the Magpul stock that's on, you know, genuine Magpul that's on the 1522, I think that cost me like 30 quid. So you're doubling your money there. You can get, you know, when you take into account the sight mounts, so it's £160 for an optical rifle scope and £50 for a mount. So £210. Yes, I know a lot of people's optic setup is going to be a lot more than that. I mean, that wouldn't actually cover the cost of the mount for my Razer HD Gen 2 on its own. But there are, again, cheap optics out there. You can go and get a scope for, like, I think Mike Lindsay was posting one on Amazon, which was 20 quid. You know, again, it becomes very grey because, you know, are you then defrauding the police? But at the end of the day, they're saying, look, you hand us in this, we'll give you that. You know, if you happen to have, you know, they obviously want a complete gun, give them a complete gun, and, you know, maybe just do it as cheaply as possible. Electronic sight's £170. Again, we were talking about EOTechs and UH1s. You know, that wouldn't even cover the used price of one. So, you know, you've spent 500 quid on an EOTech, and they give you 170 quid for it. But again, you can get red dots for sub £100, or there will be people out there with red dots for less than £100. Your quid's in. Pistol grips, 26 quid. That's probably not very good, really. Forward angle grips, 50 quid. Again, they're like a 20-30 quid part. You know, so yeah, there's people out there that will win and lose. But I think if people are smart about it, you can maximize the silver lining of this whole ban. But yeah, anyway, why are they bringing in all these new restrictions now? What's the motive? God knows, because they haven't been able to logically justify it. August Aimsley. We used to have a thing at my old work where you would get Aimsley'd if you left your computer open and unlocked, because it was in a secure environment. You know, you weren't meant to. It wasn't like the end of the world because we were in a secure place, but it was good habit. So your punishment, if you didn't lock your computer going away, was having your screensavers made into Ainsley Harriet. And this worked really well until one day I had popped to the toilet or whatever, come back, and customers are there. Unbeknownst to me, I had all the screens filled up. Unbeknownst to me, I'd been Ainsley'd. It wasn't the best picture of Ainsley, I have to be honest. And as the customers are stood around my desk looking at this new product, I have to minimise one of these screens to get another program up. Lo and behold, a huge picture of Ainsley Harriet right there on my monitor. Luckily, they saw the funny side of it, and unfortunately, the management team weren't too happy about that, and we were then banned from Ainsleying people going forward. The customers absolutely loved it. They got up to far worse, that's for sure. Gareth Cooper, isn't there only around 600 Mars rifle in the UK currently possessed? Yeah, it's not huge. It's a lot more than what the Home Office, I think, first estimated. That's for sure. But you know, because they were like, oh, it's only going to cost us 50p, and then they were like, you know, oh, there's only like 20 of these rifles about, isn't there? Oh, that's not going to cost too much. What do you mean there's 600 of them? You know, I mean, like, do the figures. 600, you know, what is it? £2,000, 600 rifles. 1.2 million. I can think of a lot of uses for 1.2 million that will do a lot more for public safety and quality of life for people up and down the country than removing guns that have never been used in crime. Vicious Shear, can you make it look really mean? The Home Office gun grabbers. Yeah, make it look as black and tactical as possible. Put lasers on it and all that. But yeah, just do it. Just paint it pink, hand it in. Absolutely. Sorry, I've been talking long about it. It is big news. I will be doing a detailed video, which will basically be the same as what I've just said. But yeah, I did hear of Where is it? Let's bring that up. A very interesting, let's just say, letter that was being sent around by Hampshire. So every certificate holder in Hampshire received, or I imagine will receive, one of these letters. So what was it? It was basically on the 10th of December, the Home Office Surrender and Compensation Scheme went live and will be in effect 9th of March 2021. During that time, if you possess a Mars action or lever release firearm, ancillary equipment specific to those firearms, or bump stocks, you must engage with the process during the period of the scheme. If you do not engage, you will be eligible. Sorry, if you do not engage, you will not be eligible to claim compensation. And if you retain possession of this type of firearm or any component part after the 9th of March, you will be committing an offence for which you may be prosecuted and risk having your certificates revoked. Now, these letters were sent standard first class, right? With my experience of shipping stuff out with Magload, we ship an ungodly amount. Luckily, great, not complaining, but we ship a lot of stuff, and unfortunately, this is why we switched to DPD. Unfortunately, Royal Mail is not 100% reliable, and out of 100 packets, we will get one or two that goes missing, gets held up, or for whatever reason doesn't efficiently reach its final destination, which we always sort out. We always send out another package to a customer and then scream at the phone for Royal Mail. But anyway, for like a standard first class service, I mean, and when we use Royal Mail for Magload, we would send everything. Apart from if it was like a replacement part or something, we would send every order signed for, and it still wasn't 100%, right? First class stamped letters are not anywhere near 100% reliable. So what happens in the situation where somebody who has a Mars or lever release doesn't receive this letter? They don't have the internet, because according to BASC, not every FAC holder has access to the internet, which I can believe. Poor excuse for them to not utilise email as much as they could. But anyway, different point. So let's just say you're not online, or you don't follow, EnglishShooting, or the Owners' Right Cooperative, or whatever. You don't get this letter because Royal Mail lose it, or it gets delivered to the wrong address, or whatever. And you are completely oblivious. You are completely oblivious to what is going on. And you go over this deadline. You lose your certificates, and you're committing a Section 5 offence, 5 years in prison. It is actually quite worrying that, if you possess. So let me get this straight. Did Hampshire not actually have a full list of who has these guns? I've had dozens and dozens of people contact me regarding this letter, and the majority of them don't have a Mars or lever release. They are just literally spamming out this letter. That's a really inefficient way to do it. Even if they don't have the exact make and model, which they should, just by caliber, just filter it by caliber. There's a million and one things that they could do to reduce sending out tens of thousands of letters and wasting, what is it now? Nearly £1 to send a first class stamp. They've, print all these letters off, pack them all up, put a stamp on it and send it out. You're talking, in time, paper, envelopes, stamps, £1, £2, probably closer to £2, right, to send each letter. Actually, how many shotgun certificates in Hampshire? There you go. There's Buzz and Wizzy putting on a show for you. Oh, they've found something that they like. Oh. In total, so this was 2018 from the Daily Echo. In total, 5,500 valid firearm licenses in Hampshire. Well, that's firearm licenses, not necessarily. Oh, here we go. Number of legal gun owners in Hampshire on the rise. Oh no, run away! Where is this? I should really get it so I can like share the screen. I'll sort that out. That's what the professionals seem to do. But the Daily Echo can go suck a dick because their website isn't working. Newly released figures from the Home Office show that in March this year there were 19,365 licensed firearms in the area. So that's Hampshire, right? So 20,000, right? So there's 20,000 license holders, right? And we're estimating that it cost £2 in time, resource, whatever, to send that letter out. Or maybe they send it second class, saved a little bit. Let's just say £2. £40,000, right? They spent £40,000 sending a letter to the majority, to every single FAC holder. Like, what? Like, who signed that off? You know? Oh yeah, I see who signed it off. Anyway, it's barking. Like you have to put make and model. You know, I've you know, in the gun shop now, like I've sold gun. You have to put the make and model of the gun on the certificate. They have to put it in their system. So they must know, even if they just went every Southern Gun Company or every Caledonian Classic Arms and they sent a letter, that's going to reduce the amount of letters being sent out. But I don't know, 19,800. I don't know how many Mars or Lever release owners there are in the UK, in Hampshire, but it's only going to be maximum, you know, a couple hundred. So then you're talking, you know, £200 to £400 in sending these letters out, not 40,000. And the funniest thing, I think it was Alex from Blue Field Sports that pointed this out, was they went on this massive cost saving exercise where they reduced the FACs from an A4 size to an A5 size. And it was some stupendous amount that they were going to save a year doing this. Yes, that's great. That makes sense. But then you go and send out a letter that 99% of people, it's meaningless, wasting upwards of £40,000. I mean, you know, like, I don't know what an FEO's salary is. I don't want to speculate. But that, I would imagine that easily pays for at least one, if not potentially two FEOs, you know, and we've got this COVID backlog. Maybe the money could have been better spent elsewhere. Like, anyway. So yeah, I think this is a bit of a trap. It's a trap. They've oh yeah, it's your responsibility. Yeah, we've sent out all these letters, we've contacted you, it's your responsibility. And the people that trip up through no fault of their own end up in prison. You know, I've known for a long time through various sources within the police, Hampshire is on a very direct and very purposeful mission to remove the amount of licenses that are held in Hampshire. Local, just normal bobbies are told that when they go into a known firearms owner's house, that they are to actively look for things to revoke them. So this is just more part and parcel, more of the same. You know, they should know exactly who has Mars and Lever release, and they should be able to, you know, because it's not going to be a huge number, because there's not loads of these guns out there, they should be able to quite easily, at the very least, phone them, you know, or the FEOs will know within their areas who has these guns, you know. But anyway, so yeah, rough and smooth. That's the general update on them. But anyway, what are you guys talking about? DHL, TNT for domestic, they're great. TNT, I hate FedEx, mainly because when they send us an invoice, it's nigh on impossible to pay it. But anyway, that's just me. DPD, certainly for domestic, certainly for UK, have been absolutely faultless. We have had a couple of issues with, you know, all gun parts being sent abroad, but you know, it's just one of those things. Up until, you know, overall they've been very, very good. You know, but certainly for domestic, we're very, very happy. You know, 40k is half decent wage. Yeah, absolutely. Gareth Cooper also saying 20,000 in links alone. I mean, I wonder how many other organisations are doing this, are sending out these letters. You know, well, Essex Police. I don't know if this is sent to all so the numbers that I got for the compensation, this was from a document from Essex Police. I don't know if this was sent to all FAC holders within Essex, but you think, you know, again, there's roughly 250,000 holders, and if every if every force out there is sending a letter, and there's 250,000, you know, they're sending a letter to every single FAC holder out there, that's £500,000. Did they put that in their impact assessment when they put this through as a bill? Probably not. You know, £500,000 just in post and letters. Ridiculous. Anyway. You seem to like a good rant, you know. August Amesy, 40,000 is a drop in the bucket. They love wasting taxpayers' money. Yes, they do. Absolutely. It's I have had the fortune or misfortune of working in the civil service. Mind-boggling waste. Like, absolutely extra. I mean, this was like, God, it was like 15 years ago that I worked for the Office for National Statistics. I was one of those annoying people that would phone you up, but it was good money for a 16-year-old, so I couldn't complain. It was mind-numbingly boring, actually. The same questions day in, day out, but again, couldn't get the same money anywhere else for doing a job as relatively easy as that. But yeah, the amount of money that they waste, oh my God, incredible. Anyway, I saw a comment, I've lost it. Where did it go? Simon Ward. Callum, do you have any idea when people will be contacted by their local force regarding handing them in? Well, I know with Hampshire it's happening. I'm aware it's over a 3-month period, but I've not had any contact from them, from anyone as of yet. I would phone them 100%. Again, you do not want, you know, if you are aware of it, which you obviously are, don't sit back and wait for them to contact you. If you know, just be proactive about it. And please, no one just turn up to it at a police station. That's the last thing we need. You know, town closed down because mad gunman is around with AR-15 rapid fire rifle. That's the last thing we need right now. So I would get in contact with your firearms licensing department. Do it by email, 100%. Most forces now will have some sort of automated response to confirm that that they've received it. If you send them an email and say, look, I have one of these guns, I need to know how to surrender it, please advise, and you get a confirmation that that's been received. If they then don't get back to you and tell you how to do it, at least you have a defence in front of a judge to go, well, I tried. You know, what am I going to do? Walk down the street and drop it into a police station? You know, it's, you know, and that's what they're all advising not to do. They're advising, don't just go and hand it in. You'll get, you know, especially with COVID, we will arrange a time. Like, could you imagine that? A queue of like 100 Mars and Lever release owners like queuing up outside of the out of police station. Daily Mail would go bananas. But yeah, I mean, again, we've just been talking about it, Simon. I guess they're going to be getting in contact very, very soon. That's what they're doing at the moment, certainly within Hampshire. In court tomorrow. Wish you luck. All the best. Basque legal funded FAC denial court case, not in trouble or anything. Maybe, Callum, you can briefly say what to expect tomorrow as you've been there before. Yes, unfortunately. Well, if I was to have 10 minutes, well, even like 30 seconds with myself, like 5 years ago now, heading into that court, heading into the appeal, speak up, right? Don't be scared to make your point heard. which I, honestly was, I'd never been to court before. Well, I'd been a juror, juror. But you're quite literally ushered in, told to sit, and you're told what to do. I that was the only other time I'd been in a courtroom. It was very daunting, very intimidating, and I sat and watched, firstly, like a character assassination of myself. I, it's very hard, just because, I mean, this is going to be the worst analogy ever, but you know, just because you're like well educated and you've worked in sensitive fields, or certainly very fields that require a lot of trust and vetting, doesn't necessarily mean you're a good person. There's loads of people that have done very bad things coming from that environment. Like, people are human at the end of the day. But I'd spent my life doing well, at school, college, university, and got a job that I was very lucky to go into after university. Required security clearance, required quite high levels of vetting to work on very secretive projects, and that just went all out the window straight away. No, this is the opinion we have of this guy. This is what we're telling you he is. He's an extremist. He's he's violent. He's don't believe all of this. This is what we're saying. And I actually sat there and watched them lie on multiple points within the appeal. And it was absolutely gut wrenching. And they, but I didn't know I could speak up, right? I didn't know that I could, stand up. I didn't even know I could speak to my barrister during the proceedings. Like, we were on different rows, right? I'm on one row, he's on another. So for me to talk to him, I had to lean over and touch him on the shoulder and get his attention. If they are trying to paint you in the wrong way, if they are trying to lie, call them out on it. Right? It's as much for you to be able to have your say as it is for them. And just because it's the judge, just because it's the police, don't be scared of it. Right? Just if you've got something to say, say it. Say it politely. Say it courteously. You know what I'm trying to say. Your Honour. Address him as Your Honour, and all that. But don't be scared. Like, it will, again, I don't know how much how much experience you've had of court, but yeah, just don't be intimidated by it. You can have your say, and if you don't understand something, ask for clarification. But yeah, be prepared to have yourself dragged through the mud. Be prepared for them to twist, lie. And I've said it many times. Like, was I faultless? Absolutely not. But the way that they painted me in the courtroom was not in any way a true reflection of who I was. And I've said it before. I've learned from mistakes that I've made. I've learned from the way that I used to do things, which wasn't always the most conducive way. But I do still find it disgusting how they try to paint me, and the lies that they put forward, and I've continued to be lied to, so be prepared for it. Be prepared for them to try and drag you through the mud. Be prepared for them to lie and twist, and speak up. There we go. So that's it. I'm just gonna carry on repeating myself, but yeah, so just take a deep breath and speak loudly. Probably a Lantac rifle. Are you talking about guns that jam? No, the Lantacs are good. The SF-15 is good. It is a good gun, genuinely. It does sort of pain me to say that, but yeah, point blank simulator. If you want to drop me a message, if you want to, I'll most likely be up to the wee hours. If there's anything else that you want to ask that you don't want to put out there, on here, then please feel free to. Obviously after the stream. But yeah, there we go. Mags Mags on also. Are you talking about the compensation? Mags you'll get, just if you are, in terms of leave release, £28 per magazine. Sort of fair-ish. Oh, Point Blank Simulator. Just another thing as well. Try and spend as much time with your barrister as possible. I don't know what conversation you've had with him prior to this. For me, that's one of the things I wasn't particularly impressed with. My barrister was provided. It wasn't a Basque barrister, but it was the company that Basque work with. I met my barrister like 10 minutes before going into the appeal. So, try and spend as much time with him before going in as possible, and make sure they really understand your point. Where you're coming from with it all. But there we go. Stream is going late. Well, I thought with all the issues at the start, and small issue through, I'd extend it. Again, this is one of the benefits of not being in the gun room. Like there's not, Connors and Alex and Paul that all want to go and, get to sleep, spend time with family. I can, I'm a very lonely and sad individual. I can spend most of the evening. I was genuinely about to sort of wrap things up, but yeah, that this will be one of the perks of streams going forward. We will be able to, overrun. I'll still try and keep it to an hour and a half, especially doing them weekly. But if we need to overrun, we should be able to. I'm sure there are weeks where we might not be able to, but there we go. But Daniel Smerald, need to get your Christmas present ready for tomorrow, and yes, the frames too. Gareth Cooper, on a lighter note, can we expect a Christmas special from English Shooting? Potentially. I hadn't actually thought about it. What I've tended to do was do like the top 5 Christmas presents with like 8 days to Christmas. Or maybe actually I could get it out tomorrow. Might be able to do like a week to Christmas. I mean, that's when guys do their Christmas shopping, right? A week to Christmas. We've still got one weekend, right? We've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, prime shopping days. Perfect. I haven't done all my Christmas shopping, if I'm going to be completely honest. So maybe do like a top 5 Christmas presents, of course. Magpack, maglo.co.uk. General shooting stuff, breech flags, everyone needs a breech flag. Maglube, everyone needs lubricant. Not in that way. And, the Magpack. There's gift cards on Magload as well. So if you need any gift ideas, maglo.co.uk, please. Please, we need to pay rent. Careful what you say on stream, Callum. Lonely and sad could cost you your FAC in current climate. Yeah. I am genuinely happy. I mean, sad is in like a sad act, not sad mentally. I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky sort of person. But Christmas special, I'll see what we can do. We've got over a week. We've got 8 days. So for a Christmas release, to be honest, I hadn't really thought about it. We've been focused so much with like Black Friday and Cyber Monday with Magload that I just sort of slipped my mind. But I'll talk to Connor, see what we can do. Maybe we'll have like a Christmas tree ball like shoot off. Who can shoot? Like we'll get some like yellow and black balls, and who can shoot them their colour faster. That might do. Daniel, you did mine you did yours in September. Are you a woman or something? Come on, man. Leave it to the last minute. It's when you get all the good deals anyway. But yeah, anyway, guys, I am going to wrap it up there. Unless there's anything more pressing. But yeah, as I've said, we will be doing these from for every week from now on. I know Christmas and New Year's is going to get in the way. We're purely just going to shift it around. But there will be usually 7:30. Might make it a little later if that works for you guys. 7:30 on a Thursday, PM UK time, but it may shift around. But one stream a week from now on, sort of guaranteed. There we go. Before you guys all leave and get back to your families, get back to your rum. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you hit the like, the thumbs up, and support the channel. It does help with the analytics. It does help it grow, and really appreciate a thumbs up before you guys all go. Tile shoot, but with Christmas stacks. Yeah, that's what I'm sort of thinking, Claire. But yeah, there we go, guys. We will get everything sorted out and sort of finessed going forward. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for sticking with me on this. We're trying to get Connor's back as soon as possible. The big, powerful beard man, because there's loads of stuff that we're going to be talking about. Well, he's going to be doing. There's lots of funny stuff. Loads of great stuff going on at the moment. So he's got lots to talk to you guys about, and we're very excited, sort of behind the scenes. But I'll leave that for him. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that. Better late than never. Maybe Kyle would appreciate. We're literally just saying that I was gonna perhaps shift the live stream a little bit later. You might you might appreciate that. Yes, Daddy is here. But there we go. Otherwise, I'll continue to ramble on. Again, you just turned up, you just donated, Carl. Now I'm going to sod off. But no, really appreciate that. And yeah, again, all of you guys for sticking with me this evening through the couple of problems. We'll try and iron everything out, get it as good as possible. And yeah, I will see you guys probably same time, probably same place next week. In the meantime, you can always email, you can always message, and I'll always do my best to get back to everyone else. And make sure, if you're not already, to subscribe, like, share the channel. There we go, guys. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, I hope to see you soon.